If you're familiar with Siamese Dream and SilverF, SilverF, right? If you're familiar with it, you know that at 7 minutes and 41 seconds, there's the drum that comes in. Jimmy Chamberlin takes over, and it's, you know, this drum beat that's amazing. Right before that, there's a build. That's when it's thrown in drive. And everything changes. They're no longer stagnant in front of the gate. And boom, the gate tore down. It starts scraping. And the sparks come flying up. Then Jimmy Chamberlin's drum comes in. That's at 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Now, if we do that, it could be groundbreaking that Mark goes through this transformation of rebellion while listening to SilverF, and Blacksmith is back there just waiting for him to make the moment. It could have struck up some herb in the back. And the other guy, who is Gerald, is just kind of silent prayer, and then drinking Scotch whiskey too. And then, you know, it's an explosion of rebellion from the Uber driver, and boom, they go through the gate, and we've got the drum sequence, and we've got the sparks going through, and they're approaching the house that way. Almost like these soldiers coming in to, you know, make, you know, they don't kill anyone, but there's mechanical failure because of the gate. And that's basically how they get out of it, because people hit gates all the time on accident. And it does something to the car, mechanical problem. And then eventually, you know, Bob Balaban shows up, if it's someone like him, you know, very controlled, and explains, you know, he's a social worker working with the police, and then, you know, of course, Rainey Love is throwing a fit, and Grace, hopefully played by me, is very upset because, you know, damaged property, and I flip out over damaged property like a lot of people do. And it's all brought to peace, and they walk off singing, you know. So I don't know, something about this, I don't know, something about that little moment. But anyway, I'm describing it now. So 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Listen to SilverF by the Smashing Pumpkins and go at 7 minutes and 41 seconds. See how that change happens. I'm still listening right now. So in Smashing Pumpkins, Siamese Dream, SilverF, after 7 minutes and 41 seconds, the car has already, you know, launched through the gate. It's scraping at the bottom. We go to a maybe a bird's eye shot or a crane shot. We can go to a crane shot. And Billy's voice comes in, which will, you know, we'll see if we can get that. In the song it does, in SilverF. And Billy's voice comes in, and we see the car. So we see this rebellion approaching the house of Grace Lipton's ranch, coming on this it's a long road before he gets to the front door. So we have time to play this song and do this orchestrated dance with the car and them in the back. I'm not really worried about close-up shots at this point. I want the audience to see this car has gone through this gate, and we see it from a distance, and it's a distance. It's the song that comes in, very much like the helicopters in Apocalypse Now, how they come in at a distance, and we see that until we get involved inside, in the inside part of the car. So there's a moment where we listen to the song, we see the car coming in, we see the aerial shot, we see all of that. And then we could go in for a moment and see the expression of Mark, and see the expression of Gerald, maybe saying a prayer, possibly maybe tears in his eyes. And then we see the moment of John Blacksmith just celebrating, you know, because he's the rebel of it, just celebrating the fact that they're really messing things up. It's a moment of rebellion. Then they get to the, you know, eventually to a point where they're on the patio, and the car it's having problems slowing. It maybe is an accident, and then boom, it goes through the front door a little bit, and the door falls down, and now we know that there's a problem, that kind of thing. All right, 8 minutes and 53 or 54 seconds. Billy has some stuff about how he feels no pain and all this stuff. His lyrics. I think there is a little climax there where he screams. That was maybe when the car goes through the patio and breaks down the door. So he's already said that I feel no pain, that little thing, and then there's like a little moment, a little climax moment, and that goes where it goes through the door. I think I'm gonna get a soda or something, and then head back over there. I'm probably just gonna head back. I don't know. We're at 8 o'clock. All right. Yeah, we're a little low on gas. I don't know. Brought to you by Teriyaki Beef. Jack Links, 100% beef. And vitamin water. But you can't see it, it's in my container. Note to sound mixer for Grace, aka Werevlog. So when we shoot that sequence on the long road driveway going to Grace Lipin's ranch, Grace and Rainy Love's ranch, we want to put up some huge speakers that are flat, and we bury them into the ground. So we bury these huge speakers into the ground, and so when we're driving along the driveway, you can hear the Smashing Pumpkins SilverF playing from the ground. So on certain shots, we'd use that kind of sound, and then we go in and mix, the actual studio recording. That's what we'd be listening to. So you get kind of an idea that it's playing in the air, like from the car, right? But you're not going to really hear it unless you have, speakers on the actual car, which you can have that too. The car speakers, which are right here. In a lot of my shots, you can see the speaker and the reflection. So that can also be going into that segment as well as outside shots and using speakers of the real footage, almost like recording a concert at times and moments, right? Francis Ford Coppola probably did the same exact thing in Flight of the Wagner thing, Flight of the Valkyrie, when they go in with the helicopters. He probably had some of the music on speakers as well as music on speakers in the helicopters. So in moments you capture that too. So you're getting all these different forms of the song coming through different forms of how you lay it out and capture it. So we have some mixed in, which I think Coppola did, and we would kind of work in the same kind of filter or the same fashion that Francis Ford Coppola worked when the helicopters are coming in. Only we're just dealing with an Uber car and a gate and a ranch. The gate breaking down and the car coming in. And we also have an aerial shot of maybe the car as well as a bird's eye shot of the car. And then, a few angles, and we'd try different things. A crane shot, of course, and things like that. This isn't really necessarily war, but there is an aspect of that going on. Because I don't know why they would go that far. The explanation is that, they messed up. It's just an accident. This is something comedy is something very little taking very large, right? Something very, very small, like an accident, like, a car going through a gate, and then making like a big deal out of it. There's some comedy there, but yet it's also excitement too that's there. It's exciting that they're going to that degree. And also I like the fact that Ullman, if Gary Ullman accepted, he's older, so my back is hurting, but there's that kind of stuff going on with him, and there's an excitement, with I guess Post Malone, the fact that he's kind of a rebel himself and a good filmmaker himself too. If they both got involved, but the idea was the dichotomy of the two characters too. And then they're going on this adventure, it's going into Pilgrim's Progress in a certain sense, they may be Christian and hopeful, and they're going into I don't know exactly who they meet. I don't know if it's Apollyon. I guess maybe they have to meet eventually. Well, Christian has to face Apollyon on his own. But I think in this aspect, maybe the Christian character, or Christian, as in Pilgrim's Progress, would probably be Gerald Oldman III, and hopeful would be John Blacksmith at times. They're all the characters mixed in at times, just like Bunyan wanted, But it's kind of that moment of them going into maybe the Wicked Gate, or what they would call, meeting Apollyon, another name of saying it. The vultures are out tonight. Apollyon is also his name as well. They don't necessarily meet him. They only meet the husband, which is... And it also, here's another thing too. is it also could be them going into despair. You know, when a despair kidnaps Christian and kidnaps Hopeful, and they have to go to the dungeon kind of thing. Only they get out of it because they have the key of promise, which is, you know, Bill Billings. Is it Bill Billingsby? I have to look up the exact name of him. I know it's Bill Billings. He's a social worker. He's kind of the key of promise because it's like police reform, you know, at action, you know, that kind of thing. You know, it's a form of liberation because they don't go to jail for accidentally ramming their car into Grace's front door. They're released. They face possible being jailed like Christian and Hopeful were, but they had the key of promise. And you have a thing called a car key too, which they have with them as well. Might have a moment where I don't know. I guess that wouldn't be their car though. Maybe they take Mark's car keys so Mark won't leave them there at the ranch and they won't be stranded. So Blacksmith has the keys in his hand, so we see a key, like a key of promise. Something like that. Oh, this guy. My goodness gracious. Give me a break. That's the tides. Just makes me crazy right there. CDS Protective Services just drove by. I think that's similar to what Bob Billings, if that's the name, I gotta look up the character's name, but shows up to help them. I think there's a slow motion shot. Let me look. I gotta look at the time on SilverF. After 3 minutes on SilverF, it goes into a slow mo. I mean, I'm talking about the song calms down, but I think we have a slow mo shot of probably Gerald Oldman III and John Blacksmith getting out of the car and walking towards the house. And maybe we see, well, okay, I know. Let me rephrase that. They're getting out of the car, and the car is halfway, you know, in through the patio, and it's sticking kind of into the front, you know, area of the house. So they're getting out of the car and kind of walking around to the front of the patio in slow-mo. We'd have to see how that looks, but we can take a moment where that's happened, and they're, you know, a piece of the house falls, you know, and we're doing that kind of in slow-mo for a moment, and then they're getting out of the car and walking to the front of the patio to wait for Grace, which is kind of in a way Apollyon, because I played Apollyon as a prince. You know, we're all those things. We're Christian and we're Apollyon. You know, we're Apollyon, or we're those things together. But regardless, in the same instance at times. But he gets out, you know, they get out and they kind of walk around him. And that's at about 3 minutes on SilverF, because it slows down. So then we slow the camera down and we have a slow-mo segment that's worthy because it's matching the song. This would be kind of the movie where we spent a lot of time like in a dance. It's like a dance segment, you know. And then we get to the next scene. So when the slow-mo comes in, is at 3 minutes and 3 seconds of SilverF. So it would be at 3 minutes and 3 seconds. And at that point, then the camera would be at slow-mo, and they'd be getting out of the car and kind of going around, and the house, part of the house would be kind of collapsing. I was always told by my acting teacher, Bob Lavelle, he's passed away, rest in peace, that your home is your body. That's your home. This is a moment of destruction of a house, you know, the front of the house. These guys probably live like in apartments, or they, you know, like maybe even Gerald Oldman III probably lives in like a, you know, a nice shabby apartment. And then of course John Blacksmith probably the same in Oregon. You know, they wouldn't be homeowners, I don't think. Either both of those wouldn't be. I don't think so. Gerald Oldman would not be a homeowner. This is the moment where the apartment owner sees the destruction of the house of the homeowner. Anyway, it's a nice little moment, and he's getting out and he's walking around the back part of the car, and then like this little thing falls down from the house, and it's all in slow-mo, you know. Not slow-mo like Gus Van Sant, not like that, really. You know, this is more kind of choreographed slow-mo, you know, kind of Cole Spivey slow-mo kind of thing. We'd have to work it out. It'd be an interesting little thing. There's a moment on my YouTube. Actually, it's not my YouTube, I don't think. It might be YouTube, but it's maybe Facebook, where David's sitting in the back seat. I was playing Peter and the Wolf, narrated by an actor and musician known as David Bowie. He's great little narration of Peter and the Wolf. And David was sitting in the back, and I go, "Wolf." David goes, "Wolf." It's interesting. Okay, in SilverF by the Smashing Pumpkins, there's a moment at 6 minutes and 16 seconds where it slows down and it goes, "Bang, bang, you're dead. Hole in your head. Bang, bang, you're dead. Hole in your head." That can be like a bird-eye shot over the bed looking at Rainy Love, and she's kind of sweating, and she is like waking up from a bad dream, or she's having a bad dream. And then, you know, eventually then he goes, "Bang, bang, you're dead. Hole in your head," all that, and then she kind of wakes up, and some of that, and you hear, you know, some of the music that had come to their front door, you know. And now this is after they had already left, and so we go into this like dream sequence. I need to add that. If I, you know, I'm only going to hint in the dialogue of using SilverF in the you know, in the movie. I'd have to get permission, so I'm not going to put it in the script. I'm not that stupid with the script, so I'll just put it in there as like a hint, you know, somewhere along the line if I do that, or maybe it's just through this vlog. After "Bang, Bang, You're Dead," it goes back into the drumming, and he starts singing even more vigorously. Now, there can be a moment I see someone, like, from the point of view of the camera, running through a field at night under a full moon, and you just, you know, you take off at that moment, and it's just like full speed, and they're like running, and you see the moon and all that stuff at the very end of that. building in the back, or the building there's the Bank of America building, which is purple.